It is 6:02, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's Thursday, July 17th, 2025, 6 p.m. The 6:02 Birch Bay Incorporation Association. We're joined by Michael Cox from Whatcom County Library System. Thank you so much for coming. We'll start with roll call. Matt Berry, Chair here. Vice Chair Lisa Guthrie.
Here.
Treasurer Charmin Burnham.
Here.
Should have waited for Michael to get back. Michael Springham is here. Oh, there you are. I didn't see you.
You're invisible.
Usually you're over here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you moved.
Oh, I'm thrown off. Sorry.
Oh.
Jonathan Mallahan is excused. Jason Pulverari said he'd be a little behind schedule, so I see him. Patrick Allison
Here.
Yorkson Jean here. Caprice Pine not here. I don't see her online yet. Michael Rutkowski. Jan Barnes is out of town. Lisa Black said that she couldn't make it. Pauline Netsy.
She's watching a kid. She's online.
I don't see her yet, but when she pops in, we'll make her a host. Holly Hamilton.
I'm here.
And Raymond Schlabby. Alrighty, minutes were from the June quarterly community meeting were sent out earlier in the week via email. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at those?
I didn't listen to it, so I can't do it. Oh, yeah, I'm into that.
Alrighty, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Holly. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor of approving the June meeting minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Not sure we have a quorum.
Do we?
Got 1, 2, 3, 4,
What's the percent?
5, 6, 7.
And
Jason should be here soon and eight.
Online.
Pauline is.
She online?
Pauline, we need you for a quorum.
It's 50% fickle.
Quick, get hooked up.
50% plus 1 is usually the
Yeah.
minimum requirement.
Pauline, are you there?
I call her.
So it's.
She's on the Zoom. She's just.
I'm on the Zoom. Okay.
She's wondering.
All right, we had a motion to approve the June meeting minutes.
Okay.
Shall we vote now that we have a quorum?
Okay.
Do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thanks, Michael. All right, open session. Is there anyone here not on the steering committee who would like to chat to the group for a couple of minutes? Carol, no. Oh, there's Michael. Doralee.
My favorite part.
See the agenda. Hopefully you won't get too hot there.
No.
Thank you. You are going to talk about the.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. All right. Sure, no public comment. We can move on then to the executive committee report. Oh, if anyone online would like to make public comment, please raise your hand. Seeing none. From executive committee, just a reminder, next August 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. we'll be having our quarterly community meeting. It'll be a little different than the ones in the past where we have a speaker and we're upstairs at the church here, kind of focused on a topic. Instead, we're going to try to do something fun. So we'll be at BP Heron Center at Birch Bay State Park, grilling burgers and hot dogs and whatnot. There'll be some visual aids up, the infographics that communications has been working on, and it'll just be kind of a chance to chat and talk about what we love about Birch Bay and ask questions and share everything we've gathered so far. We are inviting county council members, consultants from the feasibility study, all sorts of folks. So that should be a fun time. That's our next steering committee meeting, August 21st.
Comment on that.
Yeah.
Before you go buy anything, I have got silverware up being all kinds of tablecloths and all that. So we'll talk before you go buy stuff we don't need.
I priced out burgers and at Costco and cash and carry.
Cool.
Yeah, that question?
Have you heard from any of the county council
Not yet,
folks?
no.
Okay.
All right, feasibility study update, we do have a bit of an update for you, so. Just to bring you up to speed, Community Attributes Incorporated is the consultant that Whatcom County chose to perform the updated incorporation feasibility study. They want to have a meeting with us, and they're particularly interested in learning which of the community outreach methods that we've used have been most successful. And then they want our thoughts on the previous feasibility study, like things that were left out or things that could have been done better. I had invited them, I believe they're coming to the Birch Bay Community Advisory Committee next July 31st. So I suggested to them today, how about we meet beforehand? But I did get an email about an hour ago, 5:11, less than an hour ago. We're hoping to meet earlier in the week of July 28th. They have a couple of times for us, and I think it's going to be via Zoom. So, anybody from the committee that wants to be a part of that can. But we have July 28th from 10 a.m. to 2, July 29th from 10 to 2 or 1 to 2. And then Wednesday, 11:30 to 2 are kind of the availabilities. As far as the group, what works best for us, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Any for me that week?
No preference.
None for me.
You're gone, yeah. Well,
What works for you?
okay, I'll suggest Monday just to
Cool.
Get it done.
get
Get
it
it
done.
done.
Yeah,
What time? You don't know yet?
No,
in
it
the
better,
10 to 2 range.
All right, perfect.
Let's say Monday, 10 to 2 range.
and then we'll get.
Can we make sure that we get a schedule from them?
Yep.
When? I'm not sure that they really understand how critical it is in our time,
Yeah, really.
if it's a positive report.
I think that's part of their presentation at the other meeting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah. So just, if it's not, if there's not a committed,
Yeah.
delivery date, then I think we need to push them.
When they're doing what? Yes. Good point. I like it.
We can ask that the one deliverable from them, I guess, is kind of a timeline and schedule. Anything else we should ask for or questions for them? From folks who might not be able to attend?
When you think about it,
Absolutely. Other updates, so we did hear back from State Rep Alicia Rule. She will be joining us at our October meeting. And then the Birch Bay Chamber of Commerce offered a fundraising opportunity to us. So the private parking lot behind CJ's Beach House. The Chamber of Commerce ran parking by donation on July 4th and raised $2,400. So they offered that to us, and I have for the committee here in your packet a memorandum of understanding with what they'll provide, what we're expected to provide, and then revenue sharing. So half the money will go to Chamber of Commerce, half the money would stay with BBIA. This would be a really good opportunity for us. It could pay for a mailing or sending out feasibility study results. It would be good, but I want the group to look that over. I think we should have a motion if we do want to go through with that. But that would be on Saturday, July 26th, Sunday, July 27th during the Sand Sculptor competition and rollback weekend car show. And it would be $5 suggested donation. Want to make sure that suggested donation to the chamber and to the Christian Association.
Not 10.
Well, I think that's up to us, but I think that was what was discussed at executive. Yeah. Any thoughts, questions?
I think we were saying that we wouldn't have to say suggested donation, that just
Yeah,
parking
we would
is
just say
X
parking
number
and
of
the dollar
dollars.
amount.
And
And I recall it was 10 because.
Thank you, Michael.
Five is.
Because I was adding all that money in my head.
yeah, don't shortchange Charmin.
Five to us.
Fair enough.
Dollars,
Yeah, 5 to us.
but
And we
Yep. sent
sent out earlier this week or last week, requests for volunteers for that. I think communications is gonna talk about that a little bit. Can I get a motion to participate in this or not? accept this memorandum of understanding?
I would like to make a motion that we accept the opportunity from the chamber to do the parking for July 26th and 27th.
I will second that.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting this memorandum of understanding, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. I'll get that back to Sasha at the chamber. And then last thing on the executive committee report here, we encourage anyone interested in the UGA swap Birch Point annexation development issue to attend the next Birch Bay Community Advisory Committee meeting. It's Thursday, July 31st, 6 p.m. at Birch Bay Bible Community Church. There'll be folks from Whatcom County and City of Blaine there to discuss. Dorlee, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
And just speak loudly so the folks can hear you at home.
We want to discuss the de-annexation along H Street for their UGA, and that will go to a vote in November. And it'll be a 60% vote of residents in Blaine. If that passes, they then want to annex, let's see, how many acres?
700 some.
Yeah, I've got it over here.
There's another thing that they want to de-annex. And that's an area that already has housing in it near the bridge, near the railroad
And
track.
that's the more important one because they don't have continuity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This-
From his circulator?
yeah, oh, good, let's pass that around.
Oh, I was like, I got this tiny little.
It's a de-annexation of 552 acres of East Blaine. And the annexation of 460 acres of UGA west of Semiahmoo, and 58 of those acres are in rural Whatcom County, and they were originally in Birch Bay's UGA for 30 years. And they were removed in 2004. And I have a problem with that because I was on the steering committee that did the comp plan, and we voted at the end of our comp plan. The county came to us and suggested that Birch Point area be taken out of our UGA. And the steering committee was extremely upset about it and voted 11-3. We had those neighborhoods, and we've been 4 years together. And we asked that they not do that, that they leave that in Birch Bay. And there was nobody that was going to take any better care of that land than Birch Bay. The county wasn't. And then we didn't dream, some of us didn't dream about Blaine coming down and taking that. So it used to go straight across, and Pat, used to go straight across at Lincoln
Yes.
Road.
Yes,
And it had been that way for 30 years. So we have a problem with that. The other thing we're having a problem with is Inverness PUD, which is 63 single-family lots located on 37 acres. And that's right as you go into Semiahmoo, right off to your right. It's that slopey area from the golf course down. That's where that will be. And then a vista at Birch Point is, it used to be Semiahmoo Highlands, and they've changed the name. It's 525 acres. That's in West Blaine, with 490 within the city and 35 in the county that they will be developing. And the issue here is both stormwater and infrastructure of how they get out, because it'll be coming through Birch Bay roads and all, and the infrastructure is just not there. So we're going to try and talk about this and let Blaine know how Birch Bay feels in regards to this, and the county as well. So on July 31st, there's a number of county representatives that will be there, and we're asking Alex Winger from Blaine to be there so we can get a better understanding of what this all means for our community.
And that's it. Birch Bay
Birch Bay Bible
Church.
Church at 6 o'clock. And apparently they're working on the foyer, so we don't get the fireside room. We will get the high school room, and they said west entrance, wherever that entrance is. So we'll have a note outside
It's on the end of the church.
towards
Towards
Blaine Road.
Blaine Road.
I think it is, yeah.
I know it is because I go there.
okay, now I know I told this group before, this,
That's it.
let's get it stuck in your brain. One thing, the developer that wants to go in with Blaine's area to expand it went to the Birch Bay Water and Sewer District to inquire about sewer hooks, because that's in the Birch Bay Water Sewer District area. they didn't like the price. Was Blaine, oh, Blaine will give them a break on sewer hookups. So my concern is that the drainage from any developments there will affect Birch Bay. It will affect the Birch Bay area heavily. It's affecting it now. And we need to do something about that. Pauline had a suggestion. Pauline, do you want to give the suggestion?
Well, what are they voting on Tuesday?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So
Tuesday vote.
Tuesday there, Tuesday there is a meeting at,
Is that the Blaine
3:00.
City Council?
No,
meeting?
this is
No.
at Whatcom County on Tuesday. You can go on Whatcom County site and pull up the agenda and the meeting notes for all their meetings. And this is a special meeting that's called at 3:00 Tuesday afternoon. A presentation by Whatcom County Planning and Development Services Director and discussion relating to preliminary preferred alternatives for the final EIS statement or EIS associated with the 2025 comp plan update. So when we had they sent out the draft EIS a month or so, 2 months ago, and they gave us a month for comments. And then the cities had provided alternatives for their UGA expansions or contractions or whatever, populations, everything. So this looks to be a sort of ratification of which version of the alternatives is to be worked forward on, which the cities, as Holly can tell us, the cities need this to move forward. But I personally am gonna write to the council ahead of this and to planning commission saying that we think Blaine is jumping the gun on theirs because they want to, they want voted on annexing this, but they need a public vote to de-annex the other, and just that there hasn't been the time for us, which is Whatcom County. I mean, in this case, we aren't really Birch Bay, we are Whatcom County, to talk about how this would affect us. And the result of what Blaine is asking for also makes them absolutely adjacent to Birch Bay in more locations, which has ramifications for future UGA expansions of Blaine, should we not be incorporated yet at that time. And that could be significant. That's not fear mongering, but I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Holly, because you're representing.
Well,
I spoke with Ali Panucci today
Yeah.
because I was curious about that piece that you found where they were evaluating public works infrastructure. And so she was inviting comments from us about the specifics of what Sandy McMillan had noted. And so there's that aspect of it. And the other thing she mentioned was it's the county planning commission discussing the issues with the county council. And so she said, that's gonna be really interesting because they're not really in alignment yet. And her comment is that the county council is mostly on board. They have concerns about flooding, especially for the small cities, but planning commission is really where the hang up is.
I'm not sure they're going to be taking a vote that night. And I was talking with Holly and Lisa today, and maybe I've been thinking about this, the best thing might be to let all the other 5 cities go forward and ask to have Blaine's halted or taken out until we get some of these things dealt with.
I think one of the critical issues here is the continuity of servicing. So they're taking all the benefits of taxation, but avoiding all the roads that need to be approved
Right.
with the
Yes.
additional traffic.
Sure.
And so I think the counter to it is, why don't you, if you're looking to expand, why don't you just go straight south down Portal Way?
Or straight east.
Or straight east, but I think they've kind of knocked that one off.
There's no property.
But the point is that, the semi-omelet thing was a tragedy to begin with. Now you're exacerbating it. And until you connect those two, there just should be a moratorium on anything the Blaine does in that direction.
I went to BB Warren last night, their meeting, and notified them to be on alert to watch this, and they were very, very interested. And I wrote a letter to the plans or the hearing examiner on Inverness. And it is just not fair for us to be picking up the infrastructure of all the stormwater. The cumulative stormwater from Inverness, Horizon is in the middle. Horizon, though, has been looked over strategically by the county because their stormwater issues, the county is more stringent.
Yeah.
And so the county has dealt with them. And then there's Avista. And so the cumulative effects of all of that coming into the bay and us as ratepayers with BB Warm having to pick up the tab.
That shouldn't be warm.
Is there any retention at all before it comes down?
Yes, there's retention, but Inverness, it's kind of on the slope.
So it's starting
It
to-
slopes right down
it
to
just- it
Richmond
spills over.
Park. And we lost the road at Deer Trail, there's a ton of water that comes through there. Also, Avista, at the top is where that will come out is Cellar Road. And there's already a pond there from the Simeon Golf Course. And in heavy rains, the water comes down the ditch on Silder incredibly. Now the Avista pond will be there as well. And there's 3 ponds at the top coming straight down at Birch Bay Village or Rogers Slough. So, and going straight into the bay.
This is good conversation,
Okay.
but
Okay, I have a comment if I can make it.
we'll hear from Pauline real quick and Patrick real quick, and then we need to move on.
Okay, I think there's a lot to this subject, but I would really like our committee to make a formal request that they delay any voting or support for this until a feasibility study is done and we have an opportunity to to study this subject a little more. And I think the council should delay any support to that.
Can we do that without violating our bylaws, which say, we're not to take any positions on future city policy?
We're not taking any position. We're just asking them to delay until the feasibility, get more data, and to delay until we can study this subject a little bit better. We're not taking a position. We don't have enough information.
That makes
This is a very complicated subject.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I certainly support Pauline on this. You had mentioned about Birch Bay Warm. Birch Bay Warm works hard to take care of flooding issues. It is a fee that is put on property at Birch Bay. It's not collecting money from Blaine, but Blaine is causing a bunch of problems. It's costing us money.
So I think the stormwater, the roads, those are all legitimate issues. And I think at the advisory committee, that is the group that really needs to pound this one through. So definitely as individuals, we can go and, point these things out, write them up, and even as individuals send letters to the county and stuff like that. But I do think it's a little bit dangerous to bring the BBIA into it in a formal sense.
Let's continue to discuss, but definitely mark your calendars for Thursday, July 31st, 6 p.m. at Birch Bay Bible Community Church.
Okay, but that might be too late if the council takes action this Tuesday.
I don't think it's too late. It might be too late as far as Blaine's plans to move forward with this, but it's not gonna happen immediately.
Do we know there's no vote on Tuesday
No,
for
we
anything
don't.
related to this?
No, we don't know that there's no vote, but the vote would be about the alternatives for them to, the way I understand it, Holly, because you're dealing with it. The vote would be that, yes, Blaine, continue planning with this alternative. It's not saying it will be ratified or eventually approved in the comp plan that way. But it's the moving forward to the studying it. So the more we read about, yeah.
Pauline, you're welcome to make a motion on anything if you'd like to.
Well, I make a motion that our committee ask the council to delay any action on this subject until we can get more information and the feasibility study is completed.
I'll second that.
the only recommendation I would have is to restrict it to Blaine, and then that puts us in a difficult situation. But I don't think you want to ask all of the cities in the county to
So there was a
delay.
motion and a second, right?
I didn't hear a second.
Patrick seconded.
Oh,
Patrick
sorry.
seconded it?
Sorry.
Okay, so this discussion,
With the
Yeah.
caveat.
yeah.
And I would not tie it to the feasibility study because I think that does cross that threshold with
Yeah.
regards to our bylaws. I think that, you know, as Michael says, as individuals and as our association, I think we can say that we would like more time to research something or that make them aware that it impacts us. But I don't, as far as a position by this committee, I don't believe we can do that right now. In the format that it's been moved.
Pauline, would you like to amend or anything, or should we take a vote?
Well, we can amend it to Blaine only. And I think it puts us on record that we have, actually addressed, actually asked the council to delay this. I think it's more, I mean, we need to be on record that we,
To ask the delay.
Okay. All right, let's vote on the amended motion then.
So
All,
is I'm sorry,
So-
but is feasibility study still in there? Because I don't see how the feasibility study informs
or should it be until Birch Bay has had an opportunity to vote on?
or, you
If
know,
they wish to
be
be
presented in, I don't know. I don't know what the
feasibility.
timeline is. I don't know that you need to say it at all, just that we want more time to review.
okay, we can do that.
Are you okay with that? So
Yeah.
it would be sending a statement to Whatcom County, asking them to delay Blaine's expansion into Birch Point until Birch Bay has had time to help me out with what's the exact motion you're going?
Well, because I think the meeting until it's presented to the Birch Bay Community Advisory Committee has time
Yeah.
to respond to a presentation or something, you know,
Right.
on that. And I don't know exactly how to phrase that. And I guess that's part of the concern about what is that message, you know, what that this committee would be sending.
Well, I think we can come up with kind of a draft and then the group can weigh in on it via email. Does that work for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that works. And yeah, because I mean, I think I agree that the Birch Bay Advisory Committee should take up this subject, but they're not meeting until what, 31st or something. It's after this vote, after they're doing something on Tuesday.
Okay,
What they're doing on Tuesday is just a piece of the process. It is not, and I'm one of the biggest proponents of fighting this.
Right?
But we need them to be aware we're looking, but Tuesday is no vote that is final.
Preliminary, so preliminary.
We hope.
let's take a vote on that motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye, or nay.
Okay. All right. Motion carries. Thank you. A good discussion. Let's move along to the Communications Committee report, please.
Thanks to everybody who volunteered at the Kite Festival. We got 35 more contacts added to our email list, and I understand everybody had great conversations. Soundbite number 5 has been published. Everybody should have seen that on the email. It's already on the website, and it was put out on our social media channels. Michael and team have completed 2 more neighborhood meetings, both Cottonwood neighborhood, and then Sea Links. And more are planned. I know we have, Harborview, we got the information on Harborview now, so we'll get that work scheduled in the fall. And you have some other information maybe there that anybody
Well,
would need?
Harborview, you know, we've had, CC'd Michael on it, so
Yeah.
he's aware of where we're at with it, and we're just waiting for the president or vice president to
Make
set a
the
date.
Yeah, I think he got us the date. We just haven't
Oh, have you
confirmed
got
it.
the date?
I think we got the date, but maybe we haven't confirmed that we're on the agenda, but we'll work on that on our committee.
But what they don't want is you interfering with their general meeting.
Right.
So basically, if you want to do something, it's after their general meeting is concluded.
Okay.
Which would take, normally it's an hour to an hour and a half. And they
So-
start at 10.
We can work that.
What we had offered them was we can do the 5-minute elevator pitch at the AGM. which is what we did at Sealings. Wasn't the AGM, it was their board meeting, but we're going to do the same thing at their AGM. Or we can have a special meeting, we give them a variety of
And
presentations that we've made, so I'm just waiting to hear back from them, which one they want and how they want to proceed.
Okay. So that work's ongoing. But what we really need now is everybody to volunteer to help at either the parking or at our information booth. We can get by with one person at the information booth as long as somebody else comes by for, potty breaks and things like that, but we will need, I think we figured out we need at least 4 to 5 people all day long, both days at the parking. And that, kids that you trust not to get run over, family members, friends, whatever, it's a good fundraising opportunity for us and we need the funds. So I'm hoping everybody will do that, and been a little busy this week, so I didn't get the sign up sheet brought here tonight, but I'm gonna be circulating it, and I really hope.
Can I tell you who reached out via email?
Yes, in case they didn't.
Yeah, so Michael Rukowski and Charmin said anytime Saturday,
Okay,
and Michael said she'd bring Jamie for Saturday morning. And then on Sunday, we have Holly, Jan, Michael again if needed, Charmin and
Yep.
Caprice anytime Sunday,
okay,
and Lisa Black and Michael Strigham unavailable.
Both at it,
If it's
yeah.
on.
yeah.
And I
got
can help,
those, but,
I'll be there both days, so.
okay, and I will too, and so is my husband, so.
But it would be nice to have a break to go maybe build the same castle. with the kids.
Yeah.
So other people.
That,
will
you,
do.
you should do that on Saturday, and then my husband's gonna have his car in the car show, so he should spend part of the time over there, not all day parking, but
Perfect.
we'll work it out, but I just wanna make everybody aware that, the fundraising and keeping our work going is all of our, we all signed up for this responsibility, so.
Okay.
That, and then, we'll have also same thing, we'll need some volunteers for the barbecue, and there'll be simple things, a grill master, and then, somebody to man the information booth and some things like that, so we'll get that out as well. And if you use social media or next door, look for We Are Birch Bay, please like it, share those notes, you can share it and you can turn off comments, so you don't have to have that vitriol going back and forth if you don't want the debate. But it is a great place to share things, and it's how it's another way to reach people, but if it just sits there and nobody interacts with it, it's not gonna get any of that. It's not gonna spread into the community. And our previous page, we had hundreds of followers, and with the relaunch, there's maybe a dozen followers. So it hasn't taken that viral yet. So, our next meeting is August 14th, and then, I don't know, Jonathan's not here, do you?
Do you and Holly mind giving the research?
Nope, that's fine, I jumped into the meeting late, but, what we had, other than ongoing projects, which they've got listed here in, Jonathan in his rundown. One of the questions communications had put to research and feasibility was to see what, for soundbite 6, we had talked about doing a infographic on the revenue sources for a city of Birch Bay, and basing it off of the work that they had done that was included in the May general meeting. And if they thought they had enough information now or the ability to gather more information to expand that in any way. And so that information is all here. And I think that the decision at the end of the day was to go forward more with the information as it was on the May slide, and just as basic as that was for now, and maybe list some of the other revenue sources, but not quantify them.
So there was a bit of a concern that the amount was accurate enough. And whether or not we should invest the time and effort into furthering that analysis, or whether or not we should be looking at, one of the things that Jonathan brought up that I thought was a good idea was talking about with incorporation, what are the powers of the city? Like how does that affect quality of life choices, etc. And he said he had an uncle who was a lawyer who actually could help us start to further define that. And so I thought that was a really interesting idea. I would support that.
Have lots of other sound bites to put out.
Yeah.
We're just working on number 6, and I think we've committed to 12 of them.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of what they have time to work on to present. So 6 will be generating that information back over to Jan and Yorkson here in the next week, but probably it won't be, we're not gonna take the time to move forward with additional
So you have enough, is what you're saying?
I think with that, with what you and Jonathan were talking about last night,
Okay.
for that one, and then it's where do we really only find up to 6 that we needed, and with their time with other projects, it's,
I'm sorry I missed the meeting
yeah.
last night, because the question I have is, you've come up with 6.57 in general revenues. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but how is sales tax split?
It's, we don't have, this is not. I don't have those numbers. What we have is what is on that slide for May, and it's not here.
Right.
That's not part of this presentation.
Okay.
Jonathan
Yeah.
expressed concern about the viability of the Department of
Yeah.
Revenue numbers. He thought they were incomplete.
Oh, I have no doubt they're incomplete.
So.
But I guess the issue is, if you're saying 6.5 million and the 2022 total sales tax revenue is 7.2 million, is that because half of it goes to the state and half of it goes to the city? What is the share?
That might be a question for Jonathan. He's got the best understanding of the
Okay,
data that we
I'm
have.
sorry, I missed.
No.
that.
Yeah, and I don't, but I was late to the meeting, so I don't know if any of that was gone through ahead of that time. It was just
Okay.
more of, determining where they should be spending the time that they have for this work right now. And if it's not sufficient information and we're not gonna produce additional information, we might need to skip that soundbite for now, and that's just the way it is. It's
Just
yeah,
list the
just-
revenues without the numbers.
Exactly. So that was the debate. And then talking about other things that they might want us, that research and feasibility might want communications to get out there. So there was a conversation a little bit about some of those kind of details, and there, if CAI is up and running now, they are going to be producing numbers that people can hang their hat on,
Mhm.
that, we could spend an awful lot of time chasing those same numbers, and is it important to do so right now with what's going on in everybody's schedules, so.
I think what the groups have come up with so far, those sound bites that are infographics that are on the back table, they're fantastic.
They are.
If there were only a couple more of those, I still think we'd
Yeah.
have done a great job on
Yeah,
that.
so
Thanks, Yorkson.
anyway,
Yeah, good job, yours, and Jan and Jonathan and everybody.
yeah,
A little out of order, finance, would you like to give
No, sure.
a report, Jonathan? And then we
Okay,
can
we'll
get to our guests.
keep it very simple. Good news is we have money in the bank. Last month, as far as expenses, well, first of all, revenue, we had a steering committee member with $150 through Venmo. The dividend was 8 cents, $150.08. I think there's a check from C Shop somewhere, right?
Briefcase, I'll get it for you before you leave, yeah.
Good job. All right. So we had $150.08 coming in. As far as expenses, there is still a big question on a Zoom. We were billed $212 this time. Last month it was over 100, and then $32 in the same month, now $212. So
That's our biggest expense. If we wanted to just go to Google Meet or something.
Yeah.
Is that what you use? Or,
I've used Google Meet.
yeah, I think it's,
I
yeah,
think-
let's talk about that because.
and then we need to find out why 212.
Yeah.
And the 32. So we're about $145-50 more than we normally have been paying.
Okay.
If we could find that out, would be great. Rental check for $100 for the month of June. Constant contact, 8813. Mailbox, $25, which people have been using. We did get HOA return postcards on the survey to our mailbox, which is awesome. Expenses $425.29. So our account balance is $1,831.97. And again, I'll bring up the fact that we are not a non-profit, that everything that you help give us is non-deductible, but we appreciate any amount that's given to us for our endeavor and our
All money goes
Thank
to
you.
outreach.
all money goes to outreach. Yeah, we don't have any coffee clutches, lunches, parties.
Till next month.
Well, that's outreach too, but.
Almost 2 years later,
It all-
we had a good run.
We had a good run. We had a good.
So again, we do Venmo, PayPal, we take checks, cash, whatever anybody's got handy that night, tonight, or any night.
Are
We
you
appreciate it.
asking for donations for the barbecue?
Oh, we
Yeah,
probably
of
could.
course,
I
yeah.
think it's a great idea, Holly. Thank
You
you.
want me to make some since I posed the idea?
Like a jar or something like.
No, I was thinking go to restaurants or I don't know, who might be able to provide hamburgers or I don't know.
It's time versus.
Yeah.
it's
That's
always
the issue.
ask.
It's always.
Yeah.
I think some of us were gonna just make sides and, you
Yep.
know, I might bring a couple hundred cookies or something and.
Yep, I'm
Barbara's
gonna
gonna
That'd be a
make
better-
salad.
Potato salad
If,
and,
if you've got a potato salad that you specialize in or something, then
yeah.
It's a pretty
yeah.
potluck.
So when is this?
The next BBI meeting,
August.
August 21st.
Be down at the state park.
Are they charging you for the Iron Center?
Yes.
Oh, wow, I might be able to work on that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you. That would be, we would save rental here and then we would
Okay.
save money there. That would be
Yeah.
fabulous.
Pay for the bird.
Dorothy.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
And I
Skip
think
the fee.
that concludes all of our committee reports and whatnot. We've got Michael Cox from Whatcom County Library here as to talk a little bit about the library system, hopefully an update on the Express Library.
Oh, yes.
Maybe, okay, cool. And a little bit about, you know, how library services may or may not be affected and concerns, opportunities for partnership, that kind of thing. So I'll just turn it over to you and fire up your PowerPoint, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you, Di, for keeping me balanced. So please jump in and share your perspectives as well. As the manager of both our Linden and Birch Bay libraries. And the Birch Bay, the envisioned community room in that space would be big enough to fit this meeting, and there wouldn't be a charge. So there's no way you can. I hope you all know that right now, library services delivered to Birch Bay come via a bookmobile every Wednesday, 3 to 7, and that we're working on completing this Birch Bay Library Express. And so I have about a 20-minute video if you really want all the details of I think it goes back to March, which was just after we submitted to Whatcom County permits for shoreline and CUP, conditional use permitting. And we just heard today that everything has, well, I can't say been approved, but here they're going to be here scheduling the hearing. And so what a process. We had a lot of help.
You can sit with me.
Please meet yourself, Paul. Gotcha.
We had a lot of help, I don't know, greasing the rails or something, trying to get this thing struck loose and where we want to be now.
And we can share out the update on our social media and via our newsletter and whatnot.
Great. Yeah, I would say that video, 20 minutes, it gives a lot more detail and it's still pretty much accurate. It talks about really the question that people want to know is what's the timeline? When are we gonna be done?
Exactly.
And the variables have to do with our permitting process, which again, we're still waiting for a hearing. And then that's just for the conditional use permit, the shoreline, and then we're gonna have building permit, but those tend to not take as long as what we've been going through right now. And once we're fully permitted, then we can bring a contractor on board. And that is really the piece that we need because a contractor comes with a timeline. But I do believe that we will be cutting a ribbon sometime in 2026.
Next slide.
Yeah, please. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about WCLS, also known as the Whatcom County Rural Library District. That's how you see it on your assessors when you're looking at all the different taxes you're paying. And a couple of key facts. We are an independent junior taxing district. We are not just a part of Whatcom County. We're separate from Whatcom County. Whatcom County Library System is independent, and we're also separate from the Bellingham Public Library. We do a lot of work to make that that separation invisible, so you can go into those libraries, you can request those materials, and we'll get them to you. But we have separate budgets, separate administrations. Whatcom County Library System is all of Whatcom County, not including the city of Bellingham. Thank you. And real quick, I'm going to cruise through some of these highlights, but 2024 was a really good year. 59,000 card holders, checked out 2.1 million items. And if you were just to total up the things that people checked out, they would have spent $42 million if you would have spent your own money to buy those materials. And by the way, the budget for the library is about $10 million a year. So already just on the stuff that we check out, it's an incredible return on investment. We had over 550,000 visits, people walking through our doors to our locations, almost 5,500 people attending programs, over 2,000 programs. So much is going on in the library. And we have a lot of things other than just books and ebooks like Libby. There's streaming things, streaming movies, streaming music. Got to check those things out. You can only watch your whatever collection till you get tired of it so long, and then you can check out what is the online movie? Canopy, or Freegal is the music streaming service. So you can ditch some of your subscriptions if you want to and start using the library in that way too. Consumer Reports, Ancestry.com, Value Line is a great tool for business. Local newspapers, you can log in and read Cascadia Daily News and Bellingham Herald. Maybe there's some hometown newspaper across the country, and the odds are that we might have that paper as well. So great access to local news.
Can I add Data Axle? The Research and Feasibility Group used to try to hone in on sales taxes that are generated in the Birch Bay area.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Oh, I love that. I'm glad that you're using that. And some things you might not think that the library has: puzzles and games, ukuleles. The backpack there has a Discover Pass in it, so that you and your family can save some money and still access those parks. And also Wi-Fi hotspots are really popular, and an important tool for people. Of course, you can also drive to the site of the future Birch Bay Library and get onto the Wi-Fi there as well. You know about the bookmobile. You may not know that we deliver services to people in some homes and residential places. We used to actually send staff into people's homes. COVID changed that, but we have a books by mail program. Jail service, 8 hours a week. That staff time is actually paid back to us by the county, but we're visiting on a weekly basis and rolling materials out. Meeting rooms is one of the things that we heard Birch Bay needs. In fact, that's why we designed the space the way we did. Typically in our smaller libraries, they are collection heavy, and we have some libraries without meeting spaces that are even bigger than the one we're going to have here in Birch Bay. But we heard that the community needed this, and so we're going to have room. I think it's 35 chairs. Connect Ed is if all students going into a public school in Whatcom County, their school ID is also a library card number. And so we have staff going into the schools, and they know they can go online and place a hold, and we'll actually bring it to the school for them. They can drop it off at school. The biggest barrier to students using the library is actually getting to the library. And so by serving them at school, the amount of materials checked out within our Connected program is the same as some of our mid-sized branches. So it's having this program is kind of like adding another branch's worth of circulation. By the way, speaking of circulation, Whatcom County Library System, within other library systems in the state that are about our size, 100,000 to 250,000, we're actually at the lower end of that scale. Of all libraries compared within that range, we are #1 in circulation per capita. Whatcom County are great readers, and that's something to be really proud of. And part of the reason is because we have a really strong library system, and we need to keep it that way. Of course, you know about some of the great programs we have because we bring them here. We partner with the chamber. Such great partners here in Birch Bay. This is probably the place where we have some of the most fun, most frequently, especially throughout the summer. And of course, teen clubs, social events, book groups, music. I said 2025 tax revenue is 10.1 million. We have a huge collection of material, 670,000. And if we don't have it, we'll bring it here for you from somewhere around the world. I saw an item from New Zealand the other day. Printers, we actually have a weekly printing credit because we want our staff to be not having these transactions. Give us your 50 cents. We don't want to have transactional interactions. We want to have transformational interactions. So let's not talk about the nickels and dimes. Let's talk about what you're working on so that we can connect you with some other resources. So that's one of the reasons why we have a weekly printing credit. We have 168 staff, most of them are part-time, but still, the Whatcom County Library System is an employer, a fairly large employer, and we employ local people who spend their money locally. Great. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the levy, which I'm not sure if anyone has gotten their ballot yet, but I heard they were dropped in the mail. So they're going to be seeing them soon at the August 5th election date. There is a library measure on that ballot. And so how much tax dollars go to WCLS? We're going to use the number $600,000 assessed property value because that's the median cost outside of Bellingham. And so if your property is worth more than that, think of a little bit more. If it's less than that, think a little bit less. But basically right now, our levy rate is 26 cents per thousand, and that is $156 per year toward Whatcom County Library System, or $13 a month. I don't even know if Netflix might cost more than that. And the measure that the request, it would restore this levy rate to 42 cents per thousand, which would add an additional $8 per month. And I encourage you to go to the assessor's website and to look at what you are paying for your property, because and compare it to some of the other things that you're paying for with your tax dollars. And we believe it's a good deal, a good return on investment. So we can probably go to the next slide. That's an example of the long list of things that you'll see in your the assessor's website, and that's just one example we gave. This person is paying $130 a year to the library. The question I most frequently get is, you want to restore it to 42 cents per thousand, and how did it get from 16 years ago was the last time the library came out to the voters, and in 2009 during a recession, and people said, yes, we want good libraries. They supported it, and that brought that restored the levy to 44 cents per thousand, and since that time it's fallen to 26 cents per thousand. And the reason is that the levy can increase a maximum by 1% each year. And but population growth, property value is growing, and so the levy can only grow by 1%, and so the levy rates start to fall.
I say, you increase it by 1%, inflation goes at 2.5%.
Yeah. That's what's happened. Inflation has caught up with us over the past 16 years. We've been in a budget deficit. This year, we're in an almost $900,000 budget deficit. Next year, as a projected $1.1 million deficit, we've been spending down for the past few years our savings account. And the board recently created a levy stabilization fund so that if the levy does pass, that we want to continue to be good stewards so that we're not coming out every 3 to 5 years, but that we have another 16-year wait in between. And so we want to make sure that when with the beginning of the cycle, when more money is coming in, that we're saving it so that we can extend this out as much as possible. Thank you. This just goes to show that our revenue is 95% property taxes. There are some other fees, grants, $2 million for this library here, other projects. We just got $135,000 in a variety of grants for a project at the North Fork Library, and our expenditures are primarily staff to provide those services. 73% of our expenditures are for library services. And I love this slide because it shows what's changed since 16 years ago when we last went to our voters. And the population has grown 18%. Our open hours have grown 22%, and that's by doing things like we opened a library in Sudden Valley. We've added Sunday hours at Ferndale and in Linden. We are trying to always squeeze as much out of, do as much as we can with the resources we have. Our circulation has increased 47%. There's that $2.1 million number there. And how about on costs? Minimum wage has increased 90% in that time. Minimum wage used to be $8.55 an hour. So unlike a business, when you get more people using your what you do, you tend to make more money. The libraries, when we have more people using, which is what we want, but it costs us more money. And so it's that we're really aren't like a business. And so it can seem a little counterintuitive, but still we want to drive people to our doors because it just shows that the way we're doing things here is a success. People are voting with their feet. Beginning part of this year, we've been doing a lot of listening. We had 11 listening sessions throughout all of our locations, and we got ideas about how we could be decreasing funds and decreasing services and increasing revenue. And we heard you should be using volunteers. And boy, we look at our volunteers who gave us 10,000 hours last year, and we said, we're using volunteers and you should be getting grants. And we have a foundation and who brought in, I forget how much money each year, but we're doing those things and they are all successful, and those really aren't the answer to the problem that we're in right now. Okay, I want to make sure that we're talking about the most important things for you. So maybe we could, I could wrap this up about the levy, and let's go ahead a slide or two. Here's our volunteers, and next we have our little thing about private fundraising. And maybe the next slide is an example of the ballot language that you're going to see, just so that you can be familiar with it. And I wonder if you have any questions, and don't hesitate asking the hard questions, because you might be talking to your friends and neighbors about this. And the sooner we hear hard questions, the better we can be prepared to answer them too.
Is your levy ceiling 50?
Yeah, by law, we can't go above 50 cents per thousand. The board had a lot of great discussions and landed on 42 cents per thousand. We didn't want to just go to 50 because we can. We wanted to pick a number that we felt was, again, being good stewards of tax dollars and was going to be an amount that would can be able to continue the great library services that you're already receiving for a good number of years into the future. This is a big lift for us to go through this sort of a process. It costs a couple $100,000 to be in an election across the county. And so we don't want to do that every few years.
York's next question.
So earlier, I think you have a great slide to show the increase from 2008 to 2024. Do you have more data that is in the last decade or last 5 years? Because sometimes two dots making a line, it's going up, but maybe the detail, was it trending down, trending up in the last 5 years?
Where you would want to be zeroing in on is the pandemic, because that threw the line, that threw a big dip into the line, and we've been continuing to recover from that dip. So we just looked at numbers for 16 years. If we looked at numbers from the past 10 years, we'd see a lot of similar growth. If we looked at numbers, compare ourselves from 2019, right before the pandemic, I'd say that we are probably about nearly recovered. We're still, I'd say we're still recovering, but have largely rebounded from people's behaviors changed, and it's the hardest thing to do, is to change people's behaviors. And so a lot of people have moved. Actually, we've been seeing the use of our print collections decreasing for the past few years by maybe 1%, but then the use of the digital collections
Has gone.
it has gone up, and so we still are in a net positive growth,
Okay, good.
even though the use of our print collections is taking this hit. And when we're talking 1%, it actually is really good news when you compare that to what libraries across the state or country are seeing. When we compare ourselves regionally and nationally, we're looking pretty good.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Ollie has questions for you.
I'm kind of curious, what is your relationship with the various cities that you're in, Ferndale?
Yeah.
And what does that dynamic look like? It's not just, property taxes, is there? They actually go.
Is there collaboration?
Yeah.
or-
Yeah, one of, so first and foremost, our library buildings are not typically owned by WCLS. And so Ferndale, the municipality, the city owns it. There's a couple where actually Friends of the Library groups own their building. And in Point Roberts, it's the Park District, but typically it's the cities own their building. So that's a great partnership. That's saves us a lot of money. And so great partnership there. Also, we have one of our values is to be amplifying the work of other community resources. And so if the health department is trying to get COVID tests out to people or prescription medicine return envelopes so that we get that stuff out of homes and taken care of, or I'm trying to, these types of things, we give them real estate in our libraries and we say, this is the Care Connect. This is where you can, where you, other community agency, I was at Ferndale Library today and they had the DSHS, a mobile office there in the parking lot. And so we are a place for other community resources to come to get their word out, to be the literacy council, for example. Volunteers are using our meeting spaces and helping people learn to read or learn English. We have a long list, actually. Even just look at the groups that use our meeting rooms. That's a very passive way for us to partner with them. In fact, sometimes we're not even aware of them using it. It's a long list from beekeepers to Toastmasters to AA, to whoever it may be. They use our libraries, but we do reach out intentionally and co-create programs that are partnerships with the Blaine Corps gardeners or something like that.
I worked with the city of Yachts a couple years ago, and one of the things that they're doing with their new library, because they're in the process of constructing, is they decided to make it a shelter as well. So because they're right on the coast, I wonder if that's something that we could think about long term. So, and
Yeah,
they also got a big Department of Energy grant with some PVs on the roof. Just for what that's worth.
Yes, the Deming Library just got totally free solar panels, totally paid for. And I think there could be an opportunity here as well.
Do any of the libraries, I've been to a lot of them, have as good of a view as?
Bars in the middle.
Have you ever been to a library that has as good of a view?
He was fair.
Oh, man. And, we love to talk about the 6,000 square foot outdoor programming space, which is the front lawn at the library. And we like to talk with the friends about how, a lot of friends groups, they have revenue by having book sales, but we're just not going to have the space in that library for book sales to be happening on an ongoing basis. But one of the things we don't do is, we have meeting spaces, but we're not an events venue. The library isn't in the business. We don't really do that. But what if the friends could oversee that for us and have wedding events or whatever the case may be, write some grants and get the infrastructure so that we have the tents and the tables and the stuff and a little storage building. And I think that could be a great revenue source and really sustain programming into the future if we're, and that is the place
That's a
to
great
be.
idea.
I'm not sure how many more of my slides. Oh, there's one I want to for sure get to. This is basically, the levy really is a maintenance levy. We don't have a lot of fancy things that we want to spend new money on. We just want to keep our doors open, because the next slide you'll see that if it fails, we are going to need to be cutting back on how much we're spending on our library materials. We're going to be cutting down our open hours. And the way that saves money is that you reduce your staffing. Okay, this is the piece that's really important and the Whatcom County Library System. I see you have here in your packet a discussion purposes only pre-annexation library services agreement. And basically the way that each Whatcom County, unincorporated Whatcom County voted to have a library system in 1944. And so everyone in unincorporated Whatcom County started getting library services. Even up in, oh, we used to put books on a train going up to, where's Seattle Lights?
Oh,
New Haven, Whatcom County. So all of Whatcom County. But once the cities would incorporate, I think Sumas was the first incorporated city to annex in. And so it took a vote of the people of the city of Sumas to say, yeah, we want to be part of this system as well. And one by one, all of the cities have done that. So if Birch Bay becomes an incorporated city, then we can't just start taxing you for your library service. Right now, we're taxing because you're unincorporated part of county. If you incorporate into a city, then there needs to be a vote of the people to say, yeah, we want to be a part of WCLS. But there could be an agreement such as this that has the city agreeing to pay what is currently being paid in that assessed tax assessment. So that we can continue those services uninterrupted. And so it's the type of thing that might cause a lot of confusion because as you are incorporating as a city, there might need to be another ballot measure that says then, yeah, and we want to annex into Whatcom County Library System. And I can imagine there'd be so much confusion. I'm not sure about some of these other agencies, public agencies, if that would also need to be part of a ballot measure for them as well or not.
As far as we've heard so far, and we've spoken with a lot of them, the library is the one that would require a pre-annexation services agreement to continue service.
because the others are, while they're districts, they are actually government entities.
Yeah,
That, I think that's my basic understanding of
So
it.
the others are MOUs or MOAs.
Yeah.
the municipalities has, or water sewer district is.
And I mean, there's other ones that could be annexed. Cities have that ability, but this is the one that there would have to be an action by a city council after incorporation in order to restore services.
Make a short list of things that we.
Which is why it was important that you came here. We talked about this so that, you know, we can communicate the information to the community. And there's a couple of questions.
Would this be a little more complicated since WCLS owns the building and the property?
I don't know if that's the reason that makes it complicated. I think it's a matter of, we can only tax people once they vote to be taxed. And so I don't know if you have two ballot measures at the same time, one saying, let's vote to become incorporated, and one saying, let's vote for incorporated Birch Bay to be part of the library system. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that timing even works, or if you'd have to do one and then wait for another election to do the other.
Own the library, because the other groups like Sumas possibly built the library and owned the library at that time.
Well, but still, if Sumas was unincorporated right now, and then they incorporated it and they still owned the building, we would still be in the same situation. Whereas we'd have to be saying, are we, if we're not able to collect any revenues from the people of this new city, are we going to be able to afford to deliver library services there?
That's what I was saying.
And so
Could you potentially deny people that live here library services?
Here's the weirdest.
Live outside the county,
Let me
like
just
come in and
jump-
use our library.
Let me just jump to the
Right.
weirdest scenario. That's exactly the weirdest
Right.
scenario is. Number one, the grant funding, the couple $1 million of grant funding that went in here, there's also part of that agreement is that we're gonna be running a library there for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
So imagine us, so there is gonna be a library there. But if there isn't an agreement for the people of Birch Bay to be paying taxes for library services, then it is possible for us to say, we are here to serve the people of Whatcom County, And you have to be living within our service area
Yeah.
to use these services. And so imagine that, right? And so it's just ultra weird. Another weird aspect as far as ballot measures go is that there might be a lot of people who are confused. They might see this library measure on the ballot and think, wait a second, haven't we already seen this a couple times? And what are they trying to do here? And of course, that was to get some money to build our initial community vision of a 7,600 square
Yeah.
foot library. We've pivoted and we're going to be using the existing structure, total renovation, however. And so people might be thinking, we've been here, done this. Why are we doing this again? This is different. This is for library services, not a new library building in Birch Bay. So it is a different ask for a different thing.
There must be a precedent there. Fine.
Well, what's unique in this situation? So the WCLS was established in 1944. The most recent city to be incorporated in Whatcom County was 1929 or
28 or 29.
28 in the 20s, 100 years ago. So all of them were cities, and then I guess they annexed in shortly after the establishment, except for Bellingham. But we'd be coming around long after the library system.
Linden was not part of it for a while.
That's
It
right.
was like 78.
Yes, Jack Krause was the mayor when that,
Yeah.
because they used to run their own library.
That's
And they
right.
said, actually, let's vote for this because then we'll get all the money that the city is currently putting into their library. We're gonna now put that into building a new building.
That's right.
And that was kind of how it worked. Hey, everybody, vote to annex in and all the current money that's being put toward it in the budget, we'll build a new building. And then 10 years later, when it's all paid off, we'll be able to free up that expenditures to other things for the city.
It was a good deal for Linden, even though years and years ago, they wouldn't allow Mad Magazine.
Linden had a lot of strange laws. That one of them.
We like Linden, let's leave them out of it.
What's one great is that we won't be doing maintenance on the line.
That's right. Since WCLS does own this facility, we also own the maintenance work.
Sure.
Because so many of the friends groups got the building and then it needed a new roof.
Yeah.
We didn't have money. You need to know that the Friends of Birch Bay Library bought the building and the property, right?
What's that?
We raised.
Definitely raise the
Yeah.
funds.
Yeah,
Yep,
that was what the Friends had to do, 650,000 or something like that.
75, maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Yeah, thank you, friends. You raised the
Then
money.
they figured out what they're gonna do to modernize it. And the building was not meant to be a library.
No.
The upcoming levy has nothing to do with that building
It does not.
happening. It's just the service level that may be provided there if the levy does not go through.
Let me think about
And we
this.
don't annex into a city, we end up becoming a city.
We are, even if the levy doesn't pass, we are continuing forward with this project.
Right. The whole system's just gonna have a change in service level.
That's right.
Yeah.
You wanna tell them how we're gonna stop that?
Right, so the reason it's called Library Express is because it has this express model that we've been playing with at our administrative building and then some of our smallest buildings like Sumas and Point Roberts. And essentially, your library card becomes a key. In those locations, it actually opens up at 6 a.m. and closes at 11 p.m. And so it's not staffed all the time. We're not saying there's never going to be staff there. Our plan is to actually have it staffed, say 20 hours a week. But that you would have much more access to getting in for meetings or whatnot, even before or after staff are there. Or you have your hold on a book, you got your notice that it's there. You don't have to know what the open hours are, just scan your card at the door. There would be some cameras as well, security cameras. But then you can just use the self-checkout kiosk and pick up your book and be on your merry way. So in this way, one of our core values is improving access. And that's one of the innovative ways that we're working on improving access. Probably that level of access would stay the same. would we still have 20 hours a week of staffing? We'd like to. Would we so it's a little uncertain exactly what cuts what are going to be doing. Right now, we're primarily looking at thinking, well, 8 hours a day. So at Ferndale and Linden, where you know we're open 11 hours a day, that would be some cuts. The full reality hasn't really hit us yet. We're kind of waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
But this library project is absolutely moving forward, and so that isn't on the line if something gets cut.
I will say that for staffing, personnel and costs, the staff that are going to work in Birch Bay are coming from Linden. So Linden's going to be reducing hours regardless of whether or not the levy passes or doesn't pass, and that's how we're going to staff. And that's why I'm sharing the locations because myself,
Yeah, we tried to find ways when developing that staffing model to do so without adding a lot of additional costs. And so thank you for having that flexibility.
Diane, do you want to speak a little bit on the agreement from the meeting last year, or did we do a sufficient enough job kind of covering it?
Yeah, I think the conversation was really good around it. One of the things that I will add, when Christine Perkins, who's the executive director, we met with Matt and Lisa last year, and we could come up with a 5-year plan to get everybody up to annexation. And so it wouldn't be like it has to happen at the same time for a vote. So there is an agreement that we can come together. It wouldn't be indefinite, but it would definitely give everyone time to understand what was happening. I think that was one thing that I would just like to add with that. And our plan is, you know, the hope, I live in Birch Bay. I live up on Clam Digger. I'm supporting and down and in this community a lot. So my hope is that we can give good information. People will understand what it means to annex, what it means to have library service, and what it means if we don't as a community. Because it is a different thing and it hasn't happened for a really, really long time. And I do think people are going to be confused about it.
Yeah.
I don't think they understand the term annexation.
Yeah, annexation is definitely
It's a
different.
different annexation.
But yes, but what Diane's saying, we can separate the issues and timing so that
Yeah.
there's time to adequately inform everyone.
Yeah.
What it really.
And I think really just making sure people understand what that looks like. Because when we did talk about it, it would be really weird for me to have to pay to be a member of the Birch Bay Library if our community did not annex in. And here we've gone through all of this to get the library. And yeah, so it's been an interesting project, I'll say that. But I think that's what I would add, Matt.
Yeah, and thank you, you and Michael and Christine for putting this together and talking to us. You were the first district or stakeholder, big stakeholder that kind of took our group seriously. And since we've talked to a lot of the big ones, but that was nice to having something real to discuss over a year ago. Yeah.
We look forward to it.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of what questions the people are gonna have.
Yeah, right.
And the term annexation is misleading.
Yeah.
And so they have to understand what that means.
Well, that'll be up to a virtual city council if the community does decide they want to go through with the corporation that we've talked a lot about. And I think Bob Jean, the retired city manager that spoke to us in May, kind of told us that a lot of the first years of a new city is setting up the new city and doing things like this. So it all makes sense there. Yeah. Did you have
I will finish with something really fun, which is we have this thing called the library game. And gosh darn it, I forgot to bring my little deal, but it's a collectible card game. And each library has its own card design. The bookmobile has one. And when we open up Birch Bay, it'll have one as well. And there's also other ways you can get cards other than just visiting the different locations. In fact, just yesterday released a new one called My Library Stories. So you can go to the website and write out a little story, or you can call the phone line and leave a 5-minute voicemail. It'll be really fun for us to hear people's library stories. And then you get the My Library Story card. And once you collect 16 cards, you become a library legend. And we've got these antique gold die cast pins that you can wear to show that you are a library legend. And it's just been so fun. People have been traveling the counties, visiting these places. It's kind of like, all right, kids, we have a trip planned. And it's super fun. You get to go somewhere the kids actually want to go when you get there. And we've been having a lot of fun with it. And we're going to be continuing to release new cards throughout the year.
I took my 2 great grandsons to my room to see the library. What? I ain't got enough of that in school.
Just tell them we got computers.
It was humorous. When they got there, each one of them walked out with about 4 books.
Books and video games and whatever it is the kids are doing these days. American Girl dolls. Oh, animatronic cats and dogs.
Oh,
He's a robot cat.
Mobile this Wednesday. I go see those cows every week.
And you know, they are fun, but also they can really help people. We've heard stories of saying, you know, my kid has been attacked by a cat and he's really afraid of cats. And this was a way for him to slowly kind of come up to this thing, which is a safe thing, and maybe start to get over some of that past trauma. Also, some seniors who are in their homes, maybe feeling lonely, maybe they can't have a place where they live, and care providers have been telling us stories about bringing these into the homes and how much they responded to them. Like, you know, we just had to buy our own. Thank you for letting us try this out, but we just had to get our own. And we've just been getting a response that, you know, we thought it was kind of cute, but actually we've been hearing how important it has been to people. And so we went from cats to very recently added dogs. And so place some holds. I know the holds list is a little bit long, but place them. You never know when you can go pick up your dog at the library.
Got your old.
Thank you so much. Were there any other questions or anything else anyone wanted to add? No? Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having
And
me.
thanks for doing all that you do, and we look forward to walking down to the lodge. Caprice is not what?
Oh, yeah.
Caprice is not here.
You know, not here. Caprice, I'll move to adjourn.
All right. Second.
Thanks,
There you go. Thank you, Michael. All right. All in favor of adjourning? Thank you.